All right, everybody, let's talk about Christian Pulisic. The man is out. He's hurt, and which is a shame because he was playing some games from Graham Potter, and he was getting back in the rotation. He had 3 starts in a row, and now, according to the manager, he says he's going to be out for a couple weeks. He just opened up his knee in the game against Manchester City, and they're still analyzing it, but they did not play in yesterday's game against Man City once again, where they lost 4-0. And maybe that's probably good for that he didn't play in that one because Man City were on it. But this is a worrying concern, and Chuck, will come to you first on this about Christian Pulisic, who seems to, at least when we put it under the microscope of his time at Chelsea, anytime looks like he's on the precipice of starting a good run and earning the trust of the manager to be a regular, he somehow gets an injury, and we find ourselves in that position once again.
It's unfortunate because timing is everything in a lot of ways when it comes to getting the opportunity and being able to sustain that spot and keep it going. So it just feels like I think we're just beating a dead horse at this point. That he needs to go. He needs to go to another place. He needs to go to another.
You think he's going to be injury free somewhere else? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I just think his time there has come to an end. Just because people have painted this picture of, yeah, he's a talented American, but he's injury prone. He gets injured too much, and he's not going to get us to that next level. He's not going to be a player like Eden Hazard who can score goals and create that spark for us and do it consistently. So I just feel that the Chelsea supporters feel the same way. Yeah, he's a good player, but we don't need him. Right.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Chelsea's kind of transfer news because if he's gonna make a move, maybe he should be doing it right now. But now that he's hurt over the next few weeks, which is when the transfer window is going to end, maybe that window is going to close, and maybe summer was going to happen anyway, and not in this January transfer window. But you got Todd Bowley, who apparently has stepped back from being the one pulling the strings and the transfer stuff for Chelsea. But they were in for Enzo Fernandez. They're currently looking to sign Joao Felix from Atleti on a loan spell. Like they're continuing to try to go get more and more pieces when they got all of these guys. Now, I know that Raheem Sterling's hurt. I know Aubameyang's hurt. I know that Ziyech is coming back. Kai Havertz, like they have some injury concerns, but it just feels like there's this crazy ambition, at least under the new ownership group for Chelsea, that they have to go out there and get all these new pieces and never actually let those pieces settle down because they're always looking for the next thing. And I think that's going to work against Chelsea, and that's probably a different conversation. But how do you think that impacts Christian Pulisic in his future, Heath?
I think if he was fit and healthy, I think it would be a great opportunity with Bully stepping back. You remove the American sort of links to it and the fact that you're bringing in, whether it's a Joao Felix or a Mudryk or whoever it is you're going to bring into the club, the writing's on the wall. You've probably also sort of just ran your time there, right? You take away this injury, you still have a list of injuries. You still have a list of inconsistent performances and all these things where perhaps his opportunity to build the trust is maybe gone with Graham Potter, with the club, and he can leave on good terms and go somewhere else, whether that's a loan move or probably have to be sold at that point. I still think that it's probably all the pieces in place that are starting to create that momentum. Now, like you said, with this injury, who knows if that window closes and now he's stuck buried even more in a lineup and we lose another 6 months from him, or at least maybe we get clarity that, okay, it's been decided, right? The future is not with the club, and that when the next window opens, he can take the next months to get a few games and to show that he's healthy and fit and has the quality that we all know that he has to find the next right club for him.
Okay, let's now pivot then, because I'm very curious to see how this all plays out for Christian, but I don't think he's going to be making a move until the summer, especially because of this injury. To Weston McKennie. That's another big name here for us Americans with regard to the transfer window. Now, he's being shopped around, or his people are looking to shop him around. He's being linked to Wolves. He's being linked to Aston Villa, Bournemouth, and Borussia Dortmund are the 4 teams I'm hearing. You guys can throw in some other ones if you've heard otherwise. He just started this past weekend for Juventus and their 1-0 win against Udinese. And he actually played kind of right wing back. And I actually thought he played pretty well. They played in a 3-5-1-1 formation, and he was all the way on the right. And I liked him there. Now, I don't know if that's his future. We obviously have some good depth in that particular area of the field, Chuck Wagon. But
we brought 6 of them to a World Cup, Jimmy. We know.
That's true. We didn't use all of them, but we should have brought some more just for fun.
Hey, Weston, get in line, man. You want to be a right back? Weston. You're 7th in the depth chart.
You're 7th in the depth chart at right back. But do you think Weston should stay at Juventus? Now, I just want to give a shout out to them that under Maxi Allegri, they've quietly moved their way back up at the 2nd. They're currently tied on points with AC Milan.
A quiet 2nd, right?
For them, it is. I mean, they
play Napoli on Friday, so we'll find out.
We'll find out just how good they are.
100%. We'll find out.
That's why Serie A, everybody, on Paramount Plus. Go get that free one month trial so you can see that game. That one in particular, Napoli versus Juventus. But what do you think Weston should do, Chuck? Where do you think he should go? Should he stay? Should he try to go tiptoe into what's happening in the Premier League?
I would say if he's playing, then you want to stay at a club you're playing. It's Juventus. This isn't bottom of the barrel in any league. This is Juve. If you're playing at Juve, and if you're playing on the right flank, you're playing as a right wing back or right midfielder or right back, then you play. You stay. You're playing. Ultimately, you want to play at a top club. He's at a top club and he's playing. So you stay put. Unless there is a better opportunity, which there aren't too many.
Bournemouth's not better.
Juve.
You don't like Bournemouth?
Dude, up the cherries, dude.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to any team in the bottom third of the Prem, leaving Juve. As you're always competing for champions. You're always competing for the Scudetto. You're not leaving. So I like what I saw from Weston on that right side in the World Cup. Just think about the England match. He was playing more like a right midfielder, and he was breaking through the lines. He was finding the ball. He was efficient with his passes. So we've seen that even with his early days at Schalke. He was playing at right back. He was playing right midfield. He was almost known as the utility player because he could play in so many different positions. Mm-hmm. So he has that in him. We just want to see him be more efficient when he is in possession, because we've seen with the U.S. men's national team when he's playing in the center of the park, sometimes he loses the ball and he gives it away easily, and you can't do that. So I think we've seen in some instances the Iran game where he showed his creativity on the ball, his pass to Serginho Dest, which was incredible. So there are lots of aspects of his game that you love, but sometimes you watch, you say, you're letting yourself down with that, either that idea, that thought process of picking the wrong player in possession, or just giving the ball away when you know possession is so valuable. So I think it's just a matter of the maturation process of figuring out where is his best position, because it's not necessarily a 6 because he loves to venture forward. And I wouldn't say it's a 10. It's definitely not a creating midfielder in terms of attacking midfielder. So is it an 8, which I think really fits him, or is it a right midfielder who tucks in and he can, win, those 50-50 balls in the air, make late runs in the box. But I think Weston is still trying to figure out where's his best position and where can you get the most out of him with the group of players around him.
Now, Heath, I want to tee you up. I want to tee you up here because to Charlie's point, you stay at Juve, you're obviously challenging for trophies.
Yeah, okay. But it was assumed 2 months ago that Juve were not challenging for trophies anytime soon.
Well,
they were part of a new project.
Didn't feel like it this year.
Down. If they win again, then I'm saying like there's a reason to stay. If they beat Napoli, then you're within a few points, and now you're in a title race again, right? Whereas before, I was like, dude, these guys might be fighting for a Champions League spot for the next years based on the way that they were playing, the performances, and all that type of thing. And that's a very different looking environment because it's a big club underperforming. That's not exactly a great environment to be in.
Well, when you have Chiesa, who's back being healthy, you have Di Maria, who's healthy. I mean, those guys are game changers. They're going to make the game easier. It's going to create more space for Weston, no matter what area of the field that he's in. But they got Rabiot, who we thought were very good for France during the World Cup, right? I mean, as those guys start to stay healthy and get older, some of them, and Weston included, I think it's going to be important. That said, when I think about Bournemouth, he shouldn't go to Bournemouth. I don't think he should go to Dortmund. But when I think about Wolves, you got Julian Lopetegui, who I like as a manager. And now he's there, and I think that he can improve as a player playing for Lopetegui. Now, Wolves' setup, I don't know, man. They don't look like they're having a lot of fun. It just seems like
you can't tell me you would leave Juve.
I wouldn't leave that, but I'm just trying to find a silver lining to Wolves.
Gosh.
If the previous manager or previous managers of Wolves were there, I would be like, don't go. But there's something about Lopetegui that I like, and I think he will change it. I think it'll just take him some time. And you got Unai Emery at Aston Villa. I just think he'll improve as a player under those two particular guys. That said, I wouldn't leave Juve. I would stay, especially as people are saying in the comments that if Allegri likes you and you're playing, then you should stay. And then also your brother said that we'll see if Allegri trusts him in the biggest games, which I think is also important because we want him to get as much big game experience as possible. But he has trusted him in the past, and Weston scored. He scored against Inter Milan earlier in the Italian Super Cup final that Inter ended up winning, I think, in penalties or a little bit later than that or whatever. And so he scored against PSG in the Champions League. Like, he's being trusted in big games, but we'll see if it matters once everybody's healthy, I think is going to be the key. But anyway, sorry, Heath.
No, I mean, there was a great comment, and I can't remember who it was from, about Weston being that he'd played 20, 25 minutes at central midfield as well, and he's Swiss Army knife, so to speak, of the team. And when you're that age and playing for a club that big, that's better being a Swiss Army knife and playing 3-4 different positions than I think going to a Premier League club where it's all about fight and all these things. I think his ability to adapt and learn and be in these difficult environments, and while the team is getting results, is an incredible place to be in. Again, we'll find out if they start to trust him when the full roster is back. But as of now, we said that in the beginning of like, oh yeah, we'll see if he gets any minutes. He played 46 something games in his first season and all that. Like, he's been relied upon since the very beginning. He's never sat on the bench for more than a game or two before he's back in the lineup for 4, 5, 6, 7 games.